Yo, what's up, strategists? Welcome to the Bitcoin Strategy. Today, I want to talk about how Bitcoin is guaranteed to go up over time no matter what happens in the space, how hard governments try to ban it, or how hard people sell it. Let's get into it. Bitcoin in the death of fiat. Just like gold, Bitcoin is guaranteed to rise in value over time. Why? Because fiat, traditional paper money like the dollar, continues to get inflated by its unjust rulers, thus weakening the currency. As we can see, one of the unjust rulers, Jerome Powell, as I like to call him, Baby Powell, we can see on the USM2 chart, which tracks the supply of dollars in circulation, or at least gives us a good visual of it. We can see that it goes up exponentially every year. I mean, you could see every presidential term here, 27% Obama, no matter who's in office, this thing goes up. This is Trump's first term. This is when COVID hit, so that's why it went up crazy in his term. As you can see, it started off normally, but then COVID hit and it led to a 45% increase. But anyways, no matter who's president, they print money. Now let's say Bitcoin remains at the same price, let's say 10,000 per coin, and the dollar got inflated by 10% this year. Due to inflation, you'll have to adjust the price for it, so $10,000 a coin plus 10% inflation equals 1100 per Bitcoin. All goods, foods, housing, and gas around you will rise in price by 10%, while your salary remains stagnant, leaving you with less free capital. It also takes relatively 10% more effort to buy that Bitcoin because your salary is stagnant, but food prices may be rising, or they may be this. Some may be the same, some may be rising. So you're left with less free capital, which in turns means that exact Bitcoin will be $1,100 because of the inflation plus the extra effort needed to acquire it. Now, if the ECB, which is the European Central Bank, for those who don't know, if they were to double the supply of euros in a day, you can expect Bitcoin to double in value against the euro due to the huge supply increase. So if one Bitcoin equals 100,000 euros before they doubled their supply, it will now be 200,000 euros. So the more government prints, the more they print, the higher Bitcoin goes. Same thing happens with Forex. For any of you who trade foreign currencies, if the People's Bank of China, the pretty much Chinese version of the Fed, were to inflate the supply of the yuan by 2 times, you can expect all other currencies like the Japanese yen, United States dollar, euro, Indian rupee to double in value against the yuan over time because they doubled their supply. Now on to a previous example of something bad happening in the space. This is the FTX Rebound. Back in November 2022, Scam Bankman-Fraud, as I like to call him. His real name is Sam Bankman-Fried, but he scammed a bunch of people. He had been caught mismanaging billions and billions of customer funds under his company FTX, including customer Bitcoin for his own personal gain. As we can see, this is Sam Bankman-Fried, the second to the most right. This is his prison photo, mugshot with a bunch of dudes. On November 11th, 2022, his company had gone bust, filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This led to increased uncertainty in the Bitcoin space and dropped the price of Bitcoin by around 30% in just 4 days. However, as we can see here, Bitcoin did rebound back in about 2 weeks, or 2 months. This is the bottom. This is when FTX crashed, and this is the rebound. So it recovered in 2 months. Now, as we go on to that, sentiment and fundamentals. In the Bitcoin community, we have a saying, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, which means no matter what happens in the space, sentiment-wise, like what happened with FTX, that's sentiment. One Bitcoin will always be just one Bitcoin. All news in the space is just noise, as Bitcoin's core fundamentals haven't changed, just the sentiment surrounding it. Fundamentals being its cap supply, global access, censorship resistant network slash connectivity, ease of transacting, transaction fees, proof of work, fungibility, self sovereignty, no central party, decentralization, and much, much more. I will be releasing more videos in the future on these topics, so stay tuned. The more you understand the difference between fundamentals and sentiment, the better the better investor you'll become, and the better you'll be able to digest Bitcoin's price action because it can be pretty volatile. Now on to natural supply and demand. This is the last slide I have for y'all. Bitcoin has a cap supply of 21 million coins, around 19.9 million of which have already been issued. As more nation states, corporations, private investors like you and me learn about and acquire Bitcoin, the more price will have to go up in order to hold that value. This is the basic Bitcoin math equation. Everything over 21 million. So as we put more and more and more value into Bitcoin, that will have to rise because it has a cap supply. It's a finite asset. So everything will have to fit into 21 million coins. If you've ever purchased a low float stock before, Bitcoin's price action may be familiar to you. It has a limited supply, allowing for more volatility, so rapid price movements. Has the potential for rapid price movements, especially with a good catalyst. Higher interest from retail investors like you and me. We know retail investors love Bitcoin. Has a relatively low market cap compared to what it's competing against. And what is it competing against? It's competing against all of the rest of the digital assets market. So 2 all the way down. As we can see here, it looks to be winning. As we can see from December, it had a nice run up in dominance. Bitcoin, 64% of the market. Number 2 is only 7%. So not that much. And it's also competing against companies. It's competing against the likes of silver and gold. It beat silver before. It's pretty much at its level right now. But the next milestone would be Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, and then gold. I believe Bitcoin could take over gold. And its other competitors, fiat currency like the dollar, the yuan, euro, Japanese yen. We gotta beat all of these. The Taiwanese dollar, Australian dollar, Brazilian real. And we're also competing against the real estate market. So all of these markets we're competing against gives us infinite capital to keep shoveling at Bitcoin. Bitcoin will eat up all these markets. Now, in short, Bitcoin is guaranteed to go up over time as long as Baby Powell, Crazy Christine, and Comrade Pan keep printing. Bitcoin is like the steam engine that never stops running, eating away one sector of the traditional capital markets one at a time. Don't miss it. It's amazing to see how far we've come. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to like, comment, or even subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And as always, stay orange pilling, stack sats, and have a great rest of your day.